Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the press. And let me follow with the appreciation of my colleague for you coming to attend this press conference at short notice on a weekend. I'm sure some of you would have liked to spend your time sleeping after yesterday night. Now I speak to you, not just the Minister of Cabinet Affairs, but also the Secretary General of the High-Level Standing Committee for the implementation of the agreement on the recent conflict in the Republic of South Sudan. And I'm giving you the statement is on strategic response of the revitalized transitional government of national unity to the Nasir incident and how to reinvigorate the implementation of the revitalized agreement on the recent conflict in the Republic of South Sudan. And the incident, of course, was the 4th of March, and that was in Nasir, in Unity State. I want you to take patience as I read this carefully in my maybe slower speed than usual, because I want us to get it right. The preamble. Tensions among the South Sudan People's Liberation Defense Forces, the SSPDF forces, and the White Army in Nasir have been long-standing. In February 2025, these tensions escalated drastically. On the 3rd of March, the presidency convened an extended meeting to address the worsening situation in Nasir. During this meeting, it was confirmed that Dr. Riek Machar was in communication with key figures in the area. And these key figures include Paramount Chief, youth leaders, the SSPDF commanders, and others on the ground. They assured the former Chief of Defense Forces, that was Santino Deng, that the White Army will lift the siege on our forces in Nasir, go back to their homes and locks, and that the SSPDF forces who granted access to Nasir and relieve the seized troops and allow them to leave Nasir for Malakal. Despite these assurances, on the 4th of March 2025, the White Army launched a brutal attack, resulting in the death of over 400 SSPDF personnel, including their commander, General David Major Dak. These tragic incidents triggered a political crisis and posed a serious threat to the implementation of the agreement on the recent conflict in the Republic of South Sudan. Riek has since been placed under house arrest, with other SPLM-IO leaders also detained pending investigations into their possible involvement in the incident. What is the background to the Nasir conflict? The Nuer ethnic group, one of the largest in South Sudan, played a significant and crucial role in the liberation of the country. This community occupies counties divided into 4 subsections. The Jikal Nuer are in Nasir, in Ulang, Mayendit, Nungachuk, all in Upper Nile, Low Nuer in Akobo, in Yirol, in Uror, in Jonglei State, Pagak, Nuer in Lik in Pagak, Gawar in Ayot in Jungle State, in Bentiu, Nuer in Bul in Mayom, Yikeng in Gwit, Tok in Ler, Yong in Panyajar, Hok in Mayandit, Yakai in Kwach, and Lik in Rubkona counties. Out of these counties, 9 of them are considered hostile to the government, primarily aligned with the SPLM-IO. These include Nasir, Ulang, Akobo, Nirol, Uror, Pangak, Ayut, and Rukona. Leaders from these areas hold influential political and military positions and maintain deep ties with this community leadership, including youth, women, and spiritual leaders. The 7 remaining counties are deemed to be friendly to the government, including Mayandi, Maywood, and Ngochuk, as well as Gwit, Lair, Panyajar, Mayandit, Koch, and Mayam counties in the states. What is the conflict timeline and escalation timeline? The SPLM-IO political crisis in December 2023, led by Dr. Riek Machar, formed the SPLM-IO a rebel movement to fight the government of the Republic of South Sudan, causing death of innocent civilians and displacement of thousands of the people of South Sudan and destabilizing the country. In 2015, under regional and international pressure, the parties signed the agreement on resolution of conflict in the Republic of South Sudan. However, violence resumed in 2016. A new deal, the revitalized Government of National Unity, was signed in September 2018, forming the revised agreement, the revitalized Transitional Government of National Unity. The agreement on the resolution conflict in the South Sudan mandated that all parties surrender their forces to the government to form the unified national structure and relinquish administrative control of territories so that they are divided equitably between the parties to the agreement. The SPLM-IO, however, resisted government presence in areas such as Nasir, Ulang, and others that we may not need to mention now. The SSPDF attempted to assert control of Nasir in 2016, but faced strong resistance. And over the years, their forces in Nasir were marginalized, allowed only limited access to water, firewood, and food. On the 4th of March 2025, it culminated in the massacre of over 400 SSPDF soldiers by the White Army, suspected to be in collaboration with the SPLM-IO forces. What is the relationship between the SPLM-IO and the White Army? While the SPLM-IO claims that the White Army operates independently, their ties to the SPLM-IO are strong and inseparable. This can only be confirmed through the ongoing investigations once the investigation is completed. So now, after Nasir, what is the strategic plan of the government? The strategic plan to reinvigorate the implementation of the RXS is as follows. 1, we noticed and confirmed that the Nasir crisis has fragmented the SPLA into 4 factions now as we speak. 1, there are SPLM-IO who are under investigation because they're in conflict with the law and the constitution. There are SPLM-IO who are in hiding. They're here in Juba, or elsewhere within our country. There are also SPLM-IO who have decided to exile themselves. They ran away. And there are those who are in government with us. So what is our plan now to move the country forward? At this point, I want to mention that our commitment as the high-level committee is to make sure that we implement the agreement to move this country forward. How do we do it? We want to have one national army, disarm civilians, and make sure that the army and the police and all the other organs and control. We want to establish a democratic system. Then we move the country to election, because we believe it's only in election that the country will have stability. And I want to call to all of you, including our citizens, to understand that. First, as an action we want to take, number one, we want to affirm the leadership representation. You know that the agreement has been signed by 5 partners. But in these partners, the SPLM, the IT GONU, which is the SPLM and the parties that work with the SPLM, we have 14. The SPLM-IO claims to be the only one group. But then the SOA, South Sudan Opposition Alliance, have 8. So the other parties, they call them OPP, have 20. And then you have the FDs. So you're talking about 42 parties in this government. So the fact that one faction of the SPLM-IO is not there does not nullify, does not annul the agreement. You must be clear about this. So, when I talk about leadership representation, the High-Level Committee, which includes all the parties signatory to the agreement, shall urgently convene a meeting to recognize the legitimate SPLM-IO faction for continued implementation of the R-axis. We will have to recognize, according to the agreement and according to the constitution of the SPLM-IO itself, which party is legitimate? The one that has rebelled outside? The one that is hiding? The one that is self-exiled? Or the one that is with us in the government? Because every party has a constitution. A party is actually a government. It has a constitution, it has laws, rules, and regulations. We will follow those. 2, we want to the constitution of the structures of the agreement itself. So the High-Level Committee shall submit candidate nominations from the SPLM-IO that we will recognize according to the constitution for restructuring and implementation of mechanisms and national commissions to the President for appointment. The country cannot be left in vacuum. Out of the 2 parties, if only one faction of the SPLM-IO has gone, it doesn't mean the other 41 are irrelevant. 3, the High-Level Committee will meet with the Ministry of Finance and Planning to review and realistically adjust the budget of the electoral institutions to ensure availability of funds. We must look at the budgets of these institutions. Some of them are not realistic. Now we're going to take action. We're going to monitor, once they're paid, we're going to monitor the implementation. We're going to monitor progress so that we make sure we reach to the election in 2026. 4, electoral preparations. The High-Level Committee will coordinate with electoral bodies and the National Transitional Committee to develop a new realistic schedule for implementing the ongoing and the pending provisions and holding credible elections 2026. 5, Security Sector reform. We will engage with National Transitional Committee to expedite forces unification and integration into a cohesive national army and national other security organs. This is one of the weaknesses in the agreement, where we review those articles that are difficult. 6, roadmap development. We will draft a comprehensive roadmap outlining timelines and processes for resolving contentious or delayed articles in the R-axis, ensuring inclusivity and enforceability. And that we will call it Roadmap Part 2. We'll just remove those which are implemented and leave those who are ongoing and pending, and that is Part 2. And that we'll do it quickly, expeditiously, and with a lot of drive. 7, security alert and diplomatic appeal. And this is very important. The Government of the Republic of South Sudan has received credible intelligence concerning a former officer of the SPMIO who defected and engaged in combat operations alongside the Rapid Support Force of Sudan in Eastern Sudan. It has come to our attention that the said officer is currently in Western Barghazal and is reportedly planning to travel to Western Equatoria State to establish contact with Futio Karaba, the former governor, previously dismissed for corruption and other activities. 7.2, this development is of serious concern to us as a government, as a country, that with mobilization of dissident elements and potential formation of rogue alliances threaten to undermine national security of the country, destabilize peace efforts, and compromise regional stability. 7.3, the government of South Sudan, therefore, urges strongly neighboring states, neighboring countries, particularly those with sensitive and porous borders, not to provide sanctuary, logistical support, political support to such groups or movements that aim to disrupt peace and security in the Republic of South Sudan, because the impact will be wider than that. It will affect the whole region. Imagine Ethiopia and Nasir and Gambela. You go to Uganda here, Kajukeji, in Panyume, you go to DRC, all those borders, you go to Central African Republic, it's all very sensitive borders. If they come together, they will destabilize not only South Sudan, but the entire region. 7.4, we also appeal to the international community, to IGAD, and African Union, and other development partners to closely monitor these developments, work collaboratively with our security and development institutions, and lend renewed support to the ongoing implementation of the revitalized agreement. Finally, in conclusion, 8.1, the Nasir incident represents a grave setback to the peace process and a stark reminder of the fragility of the revitalized agreement on the resource conflict in the Republic of South Sudan, and the massacre of SSPDF personnel by the One Army, and the unresolved affiliations between the armed community groups and political movements reveal critical gaps in trust, security sector reform, and political coherence. 8.2, however, this tragedy must serve as a turning point, a catalyst for the urgent and decisive action. The government, in collaboration with the regional and international partners, must reassert its leadership in driving the peace process forward through renewed dialogue, international reform, institutional reform, and a unified national effort. 8.3, the implementation of our axis cannot be held hostage. We cannot hold implementing this agreement hostage by division within a party or the persistence of parallel armed forces. A unified political will, reinforced by credible mechanisms, accountability, and inclusive governance is essential. Only through our unity, transparency, and accountability can the transitional period be completed and the country is set firmly on the path towards peace and credible elections 2076. Finally, the way forward demands courage, demands clarity and commitment from leadership, from institutions, or from you, the people of South Sudan. Thank you.